Can a $300 washer really clean your clothes? Everyone, today we're doing a review on the Conservator top load washer, and you probably never heard of this name before. Conservator, something like that. Anyways, this is a Whirlpool based product, and this is their classic vertical modular washer. It's the AKA new belt drive washer. It is the same washer that would come under the name Amana, Crosley, some Whirlpool built ones, and probably half a dozen other names that I probably don't even remember. This particular model is the VAW3584GW. Some other model numbers that would fit this exact platform is the Amana NTW4516FW and the Crosley variant, which is the RTW4516FW. This washer has a puny 3.5 cubic foot tub, although it does have a dual action agitator, which is pretty amazing. It reminds me of the old direct drive Whirlpool. It also has a bleach dispenser and a lethargic 700 RPM spin speed. It only has 5 usable cycles, although it has a total of 8 cycles, but 3 of those are self-clean, spin, and rinse and spin or something like that. One notable feature to say about this machine is that the lid lock only locks during the spin. So you could open the lid at any point during the wash if you forget to put an item in or whatever. It only locks during a high-speed spin. Looking at the front of the washer, you can see it only has a few cycle selections and the rinse and spin and a clean washer option, which is pretty good. It also has a hot water fill, warm, cool, cold, tap cold, and those are your water level selections for auto sensing or the deep wash. This washer is a pretty cheaply built machine, and it shows when you look underneath it. This is your classic vertical modular washer, not to be confused with the commercial Maytag, because they're completely different, even though they look similar. This washer has a chintzy shift actuator, a very low-powered capacitor, and if you look very closely at the belt, you could see that it's a pretty skinny belt. So let's talk about performance. This washer I thought was going to be one of the worst washers I ever tested. I mean, what could you possibly expect from a $299, $350 washer? I'll tell you what, this washer really surprised me on how well it did on a variety of loads. As you can see now, it's filling. This was an empty wash video, and it started circulating those towels immediately. This load was a load of queen size sheets. It was a fitted sheet, top sheet, and 2 pillowcases. And this load actually turned out pretty well. The sheets did not get tangled around the agitator. It actually did a pretty respectable job of circulating those sheets and turning them over. I washed my full-size blanket in it, and as you can see, the moment it started, it starts pulling that blanket down. This is a full-size blanket, so it's, not a huge challenge for a washer, but just the way it pulled it down so quickly was pretty impressive to me. Let's talk about where I was really impressed. As you know, this is a queen-size comforter, and I put it in there just because. I said, let me just show another top-load washer that isn't going to clean a queen-size comforter. And I'll tell you what, out of all the washers I've tested so far, this washer, I kid you not, actually turned over this comforter. As you can see, I finally remembered to throw in my microfiber towels, but just take a look at and see what's going on over here. That blue microfiber towel is inching its way towards the center post agitator, and it is getting pulled down. And then you see the green one's not too far behind. And it definitely took a while, but let me speed up this video just so you could get an idea. It was a slow turnover, but it did actually turn it over. Even the green microfiber sheet on the very outside managed to make its way to the inside and get pulled down and completely disappear from view. For a long time they disappeared, but eventually I saw that blue microfiber start popping up on the outside of the tub. And that just proved that it actually turned over this entire queen size comforter. I was completely floored. I mean, I've tested $1,000 Speed Queen washer that couldn't even move a blanket, let alone turn it over. This washer was really impressed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Finally, I tested a load of shop towels, and this was a huge load. I mean, definitely overloaded. I shouldn't have put too many towels in there, but I said, let's make it squeak, let's make it struggle. And this load actually turned out pretty decent. It was still able to circulate the clothes. I was really impressed with the rollover action. These towels will probably never come clean, but they got a lot cleaner. I don't know if you pay attention to the water there. That was during the rinse cycle, and the water was still pretty murky. So it's not the washer's fault. These towels are just atrociously dirty. But nonetheless, it still did a good job. I was really impressed with it. So let's talk about what I don't like about this machine. This machine is a cheap washer, and you really can't expect it to last more than a few years. If this washer lasted you 3 to 5 years, I would call that a runaway success story. The other thing I don't like about this machine is the fact that it only spins at 700 RPMs. I know that this machine could spin faster because the more expensive Whirlpool and Kenmore versions of the same machine spin at 8, 9, even 1,000 RPMs. I could even look past the spin speed on this machine because at the end of the day, the items were relatively spun out. What I can't get past is the actual build quality of this machine. This washer has to be absolutely dead level, otherwise it will go off balance. Now I will say that I did not have a single off balance issue with this machine, but when I first set it up, the one front right leg was just a little bit not perfect, and this machine started vibrating rather violently. I actually had to stop filming and restart the load because the lid was getting ready to, flop down, and it was shaking violently. So once I got that straightened out, this washer was very solid and it took care of business. Now, you have to understand that I'm really impressed because this machine actually does work and that it's only $300. So if you're looking for a cheap washer that you only need for a few years, this might be the way to go. I actually like this machine a lot better than the Hotpoint washer that costs more money. This washer pretty much cleaned whatever I put at it, and it did a pretty respectable job. Now, a lot of complaints on this machine are that, people had to throw it away after 2 or 3 years. And you know what? That's what happens when you buy a $2.99 washer. You can't expect it to last 15 or 20 years. It's just impossible. This washer, I think that after its first breakdown, which is inevitably going to happen in 3 or 4 years, you might want to fix it once if you could fix it yourself. But if you're not into fixing your own machine, don't even waste the money on a service call. Any service guy is going to charge you $150, $200 to come out and fix it. And for that kind of money, you might as well chip in another $100 and just buy another machine again. So just to be crystal clear with this machine, this is not the best performing washer I've ever tested. Although I will say it did a pretty amazing job on the queen size comforter. It just did okay on everything else. But I had really low expectations for this washer. I mean, for $300, I was surprised it actually even worked. This washer, I feel like if you're looking for a cheap solution, if your washer is broke and you don't have a lot of money to buy, an $800 washer, this is a great option to go with to get you by just for a few years. I mean, really your best option is to go buy a nice used washer and be done with it. But if used is not your thing and you have to buy a new washer, I definitely wouldn't take this one off the table. I actually like this washer so much that I decided to carry it at my shop. This washer I could sell the entire set for $6.99, and I'm not even the cheapest guy in town, but for $6.99, that is a great deal for a brand new washer and dryer. The dryer was electric, and it's one of the standard top filter Whirlpool dryers that they've been making for like since eternity. And it's a great dryer. I don't need to do a review on that. It's a good dryer. Just don't expect it to last forever. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'll try and answer them all if I can, but I do have a wife and 2 kids, so it is a little bit tricky sometimes. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.